We've washed it with sugar soap, we've rubbed it down with 120 paper, we've dusted it off, we've vacked it off, now we're ready for the painting. First coat is going to be a water-based undercoat. Into the paint and you tap it on the sides of the paint kettle. That's why we use a paint kettle, because it gives you a large internal surface. So you dip it in and you tap it twice on both sides. That'll take the excess off and you have a nice fully loaded brush. We'll start at the top, remembering all the time to paint with the grain. We'll come across here, we'll fetch the 2-3 styles down, the rails, the bottom, the sides, and then we'll do the top, okay? So dip, tap. Get your paint on as quick as you can, and then lightly, with a brush at quite an accurate angle, you'll just gently drag the brush across, and that will even it out. Okay, so dip, tap, do this rail. So on nice and quick, lay it off. Dip, tap. On nice and quick, lay it off. Now we'll fetch the styles down. The reason why we did the rails first is because you noticed here we've gone across onto the style. As we fetch this line down here then, we'll get a nice sharp edge there which will follow the grain. Here we are. Here's the front. Just gently lay everything off. Make sure there's no brush marks, no runs on these corners. Pay particular attention to these corners here, because you will get a slight build up of paint, which will foul the jaw. Rub my palm over here, remove any excess dust. And what we'll do, remember the dip and the tap. We'll do the edges first. Okay, so once again, dip, tap, and any old direction. Just get it on as quick as you can. By going any direction, you spread the paint around evenly. It doesn't have to be too pretty at this stage because we're going to lay it off once it's on there. Dip and tap. Don't go scraping. Remember, don't go back over an edge. If you go back over an edge, you'll be left with a big tear of paint. So you go always away from an edge. Okay, so it's all covered. The grain goes this way. So the first step, we're going to lay it off against the grain. What that does is it fills all the grain in with the paint, and any scratches, any marks. Okay, so again, nice and slow, quite a steep angle, and you're just dragging the brush backwards and forwards. Now we're going to go with the grain for the finished coat. Just dragging the brush in the coat. It's nice and dry, so we're down to putting the top coats on now. I've got the bits and pieces together. I'll give you a quick talk through them again. We've got some very fine abrasive paper. This is 240 grit. The good old dust brush. Our top coat, which is Farrow and Ball Off-White No. 3, which is a water-based paint. Our paint kettle, our 2-inch and our 1-inch brush. And I've got some liming wax. What we'll do is we'll take everything away, get it ready, and I'll show you how to rub it down. When you come to finish your undercoat and you rub your hand over it, you'll feel any places where the moisture in the undercoat has raised and swollen the grain slightly. That's the purpose of this next step. So again, we'll take our piece of abrasive paper, 6 to 8 inches, fold it back on itself, and crease it. You get a nice tear. Then we fold it back on itself and back on itself to make our sanding pad. Now going with the grain isn't important on this next step because your paper's quite fine. What we've produced now is a very, very fine dust. And you'll notice that we've got these little dark spots appearing. What they are is they're high spots, where the timber is a little bit uneven. The undercoat now has gone into the low spots. We're just taking the high spots down, so somewhere along the line after a couple of coats we'll get a nice flat finish. Dust brush. Here's the spots I was talking about. These are high spots. That's not too bad really. Our next coat we put on, we'll repeat the same process, and with each coat you fill in the low spots, the sanding in between, you reduce the high spots. That's not too bad. What I'll do is I'll give the whole piece a complete rub over, the top, the sides, the doors. We'll give it a dust and a vac, and then we'll be into the top coat.